is designed to communicate each person's strength in just seconds. That ageism story, I came out of my own struggles. And the idea of a 59-year-old, transitioning into a new full-time position in advertising is pretty unheard of. I was my own worst enemy. I was angry that it was possible that that they didn't care about that other experience. That's part of me. I was hanging on to that. Ageism is something that's existed forever, and it will exist forever. Is get out of your own way.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hoda's Career Info. My name is Hoda and I love talking about careers. I accomplish this by inviting like-minded professionals to talk about career concerns, experience, and of course, career words. My guest today is not a career professional. In fact, he prides himself on many years working in the marketing field. So, why is he talking to me? Well, you will have to listen to the episode to find out. But here's a bit of info about him that will help you get started. His name is Rex Roy. While Rex does not identify as a career development professional, as I mentioned earlier, he has created a unique, creative, and powerful personal marketing tool that has everything to do with the career space, as he likes to call it. You can learn about it on his website, mycareersnapshot.com. A bit about Roy. He grew up in the business of marketing and have spent 40 plus years working on Fortune 500 brands. The universal takeaway for him is that metrics sell. It's why truck manufacturers boast about tow ratings and why toothpaste brands brag about how many shades whiter your teeth will be. That's his take on that. And today he will tell us a little bit more about how he thinks personal numbers can boost your profile. It has certainly worked for him and get you noticed by recruiters. Join me to learn more about Rex Roy's idea and experience. Welcome, Rex Roy, to Hoda's Career Info. I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate you trying to fit in our interview today.
Thank you very much. It's great to be with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Rex. I always want to tell the audience a little bit about you. So can you share with them, you have a unique background. Can you share with them your background and where you are at right now?
Sure. Well, I'm actually talking to you from Detroit, Michigan. This is where I was born and raised. And I literally grew up in advertising. My father owned a large agency in Detroit, and he was like the classic 1960s madman. The agency was huge. When my father retired, it had 600 clients and was billing $250 million a year. And that's really where I grew up. I spent all my free time down there. I worked at the agency from when I was 14. And that really set my course in terms of a career to stay in marketing and communications and advertising. And that's what I've done for really 40 years. And I've worked at 7 major marketing agencies, not including my father's company when I was a kid. And that includes a number of brands that are owned by the 3 largest advertising holding companies in the world. That would be IPG, WWP, and Publicis Group. And I've worked for many Fortune 50 brands, more than 32 automotive brands, and lots of non-automotive work as well. And then since July of 2020, when because of COVID, my job in event marketing, it just didn't exist anymore. I transitioned, and that was actually the genesis for creating my career snapshot. And in addition to creating my career snapshot, I went back to work for myself again, and I am now also running a successful communications consulting practice. So that's a little bit about Rex Roy.
Thanks, Rex. So you have ventured into the career field with my career snapshot. But I want to ask you something, and that probably help us get to know what get you there with a quotation from your website. I'm going to read it. So there are graphic resumes available. I am the only one who produces career info graphics commercially. I believe that resume writing is an art, so we do need to look at it that way. And while I have heard of infographic resumes, I truly found your tool very unique and innovative, as you claim. So I agree with that claim. Can you tell the audience what is unique about the career snapshot?
Of course. You know, and I made that claim boldly back in mid 2020, and I have checked it again. It is still true. While you can find templates that show you generic examples of what a graphic resume might look like, those actually aren't infographics, and that's what the career snapshot is. So. And I don't market the career snapshot or present it or promise it to function like a resume. It really is a new tool for the job seeker. It's something very different than a resume, because the snapshot is designed to communicate each person's strength in just seconds. And that's not what a resume does. The snapshot, it presents information in the short form. And that makes it a really quick read, which is terrific, for today when people are used to just grabbing information with just a glance. Resumes by design, they don't communicate that quickly. That doesn't make them inferior in any way, because resumes absolutely have many good and solid purposes that are still valid today. Some people will say the resume is dead. I don't agree with that at all. But that doesn't mean that there's not room for a new tool for job seekers. And then, the reality of what the career snapshot is something that I am bringing to the career space from all of my years in advertising. I've sold lots of different products. I've helped introduce well over 100 new vehicles in my time in Detroit. And I've often done it using metrics. And so I applied that same thinking to the career space. So our career snapshot, it uses numbers, very short captions, and simple icons, just little line drawings, to get right to the point. And so it really helps very quickly present, the strongest story of its creator. And while it doesn't go into detail like a resume purposefully, it does provide different benefits. It's so good for networking, and it's really excellent to use in an interview situation as well. And then the last big difference between a career snapshot and a traditional resume is that our product is interactive. Our final product that every customer receives is a vector-based PDF. So you can look at it at any size, and the graphics are crystal clear. Everything looks perfect. But there are active links within the career snapshot. So if the user clicks on your email address, it will automatically open an email address to you. If you have your LinkedIn profile link, they click on it, it opens up a browser window and goes right to your LinkedIn profile. If you're a creative person like myself, I also have a portfolio page, and mine goes directly to that. And so I have several links. We also have the ability, if you're very active on social media, like I know you are, Hoda, you could go to any of your different channels right from the career snapshot. So it is very different than a resume by design, but it doesn't supersede the resume, and it doesn't in any way make that irrelevant.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to having my digital copy, and I should be showing it on LinkedIn soon.
Oh, great.
To see how it works and to share it with everyone. The It's very creative, it's very innovative. I am sold on it. But my question to you is, do you feel that recruiters and hiring managers are ready for this creativity in a job application? Or is it something that's extra nice to have? Or what are your thoughts when you ventured into the resume writing, even though you don't identify it as a resume
Sure,
writing field?
sure. I wish I knew. So I do, I can't tell you exactly what hiring managers think, because speaking for hiring managers, I think is kind of silly. Hiring managers are just like regular people. They're all over the map. They all have different needs. They're all servicing different industries. They all have different bosses that, are demanding different things from them. What I can tell you is that hiring managers are all people, and people consume information in very common ways. And, people like seeing graphics. They like infographics. They are accustomed to looking at infographics, whether they see them on Twitter or whether they see them on the front page of USA Today, or I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with any of the national Canadian papers, but I would assume that infographics are common across Canada, just like they are in the States. And infographics very powerfully communicate. And people do appreciate that quick read. And so I think that hiring managers would naturally gravitate to it just like anybody would. So that's really the best answer I can give you. I haven't had a hiring manager come back to me. And I've talked with many hiring managers in the development process of the Career Snapshot, because I talk to hiring managers, I talk to recruiters, I talk to resume writers, and I talk to career coaches. So those four groups. Nobody's told me that this is a bad idea. Nobody said, oh gosh, don't send that. That'll absolutely blow up your chances of getting hired. No, nobody said that. Everybody said that it's a very nice addition to the traditional package of a cover letter and a resume. And so that's how we're looking at it.
Well, I love how you managed to bring your marketing background into resume writing. And I think that's the creativity in it. You also are trying to use that marketing technique with your partnership programs. You want to tell us a little bit about them, and how can career coaches or resume writers, if they are listening, how they can partner up with you?
Oh, sure. So one of the reasons that you and I are talking is that you have an audience already of both other career coaches that that respect what you do, and that want to share information with you and to work to improve the career counseling field and improve the services that they provide their customers. And that customer point is key, because you and other career coaches already have the customers. That's really key to me, because I don't have the customers. I don't have a direct connection with the customers, but you do. So the idea with the Career Snapshot affiliate partnership program is actually very simple. If a career coach like yourself believes that the Career Snapshot could be helpful for their clients, either individually, or you think it's a good enough idea to recommend it to all of your clients, with the affiliate partnership program, you can offer your clients the largest available discount anywhere on the web, so that they get the biggest discount on their Career Snapshot. And there is a bonus program that then rewards the career coach for making that reference and then being involved in the process of creating the Career Snapshot with their client. One thing that I am very attuned to is that career coaches work very hard to earn the trust of prospects, and then turn those prospects into clients, and then care for those prospects as they help them in their career, whether it's advancing at the company where they are, or whether it's finding a new job. You nurture those relationships. I don't want our group to get in the way of that. I want us to be able to supplement what you do by offering a new service to your team. so that your customers have an even better chance of making that next career step. And so career coaches can choose to be very involved in the development of the career snapshot. They can help their clients come up with the metrics and the phraseology that they use for their captions. And they can be involved in the review process to make sure that everything is dialed in just the way you would want it to be for your customer. So we don't want to get in the middle of it, but we want to make sure that that career coaches are rewarded for the work that they do when they are participating in the creation of the career snapshot for their clients. So that's why there's a referral bonus program in there. So that's how that works.
So I am thrilled to announce that I have partnered up with Rex and my Career Snapshot. So if you have any questions about it, you can come to me or to Rex with any questions about how the partnership works, or if you have any questions about the Career Snapshot as an idea.
Great.
I'm going to move away from the Career Snapshot a little bit and to the reason that you and I met online and talk about the topic that is both interest to us, and that is ageism. Not long ago, you wrote an article, and I'm just going to read the title of it for those who are interested in looking it up. Ageism in Hiring, 7 Hard Truths and What You Can Do About Them. I will also put the link to this article in the comments section. But that's how you and I, Rex, met, because ageism is something as we get older, we're all feeling. What prompted you to write this article, and what advice do you give job seekers today besides getting my Career Snapshot?
Sure. That ageism story, I came out of my own struggles starting last spring. I was, while I kind of vaguely referenced it, the reality was in July of last year, I got laid off. And I was furloughed for 2 months prior to that. And during that period, because, of course, I'm no dummy, I realized what was happening to the event industry, and I figured I needed to be able to find a new job, that, the end was coming for this stage in my career in event marketing. And I was right, and it came to be. And I got advice several times from people on what to do, because I'm not a young man anymore. I'll be 59 next month, and the idea of a 59-year-old transitioning into a new full-time position in advertising is pretty unheard of. Really, in advertising, if you're 40 years old, heck, they want to put you out to pasture. So I started to grapple with issues of ageism and, suggestions about what I could possibly do to improve my chances of getting hired. And what I realized in those 7 hard truths was that I was my own worst enemy. I was the one that was making it hard to get that next opportunity. And there were several things that didn't immediately come to mind. One of the truths in the story is that chances are a hiring manager is going to be in their late 20s or early 30s. I mean, I've got kids that are in their early 30s. That's just reality. And I want to make sure that people need to make sure that they're not coming across like a boomer in the negative sense. How there's that saying now, okay, boomer, that's what the kids say to their parents, and that's what's said around in companies all over North America. And it's because boomers can sometimes cop an attitude of, well, I've been doing it for years like this, or I've been doing it so long, I know the right way, I don't need to listen. Or what's wrong with my AOL address, my AOL.com email address. Things like that are really unnecessary impediments that I held on to for far too long. And as a matter of fact, when I left the event marketing agency that I worked for, one of the things that the HR department offered was a resume review. And two very experienced agency hiring managers looked at my resume and they said, a couple of things, Rex. First, drop the year you graduated from college. Drop every job you had before the year 2000 and get a Gmail account. Do those three things for yourself. And, you know, when I hung up the phone after that, I was just angry. I was angry that it was possible that that they didn't care about that other experience. You know, that's part of me. I was hanging on to that. And it's like, well, what's wrong with my AOL account? I've had that for 35 years. Heck, I use that with a dial-up modem. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's like, I said, Rex, listen to yourself. You know, why? You know, it's like saying, I still drive a car with a carburetor, or, you know, I heat water over a campfire because that's how I always did it. It's like ridiculous. So I wrote that story as kind of a self-effacing admission of how to do it the wrong way. And I got things turned around. I realized one by one that that those suggestions that they made to me were done honestly and for good reason, and that they actually, and this resonated with me as a writer, because one of the first rules of writing, and of course you know this in career coaching, because when you craft a resume, you're always thinking about who's the audience. Well, writing, of course, is the same way when I'm writing, you know, a review of some product, or if I'm writing a speech for an executive, who's the audience? That matters most. And I thought, boy, who is the audience of my resume, and how will they react to me still having an AOL account? They're going to look at me and go, next. You know, they don't want somebody that is culturally or technically irrelevant. And that's what things like that do. My work experience from more than 20 years ago is irrelevant. The year I graduated from college is irrelevant. And those things can also subtly stoke ageism. And, you know, ageism is something that's existed forever. And it will exist forever. We will never stamp it out, because we're human beings. And, you know, human beings have stereotypes because, frankly, in a lot of life, they're useful. And, you know, so the best thing to do is accept the fact that ageism exists and clean up your resume and your LinkedIn profile so that they're not these huge red flags waving around that goes, this guy's old, you know? So that's what the story is about.
I appreciate your willingness to talk about your story, because actually it was not an easy journey when you were going through it. So truly appreciate.
It was awful. It was really terrible. But it was worth it. And, you know, it's okay to laugh about it now. It's like, I can't, you know, it's one of those head slapping times when you go, man, I should have just listened. You know, it was right there. It wasn't like it was a mystery. They gave me those exact things to do. And I know that those things were stumbling blocks, because while I've decided, and I'm very happy doing the consulting work that I'm doing now, I applied for 40 or 50 C-suite positions that I was eminently qualified for. And it would have been terrific fits, and I would have been very proud to work for any of those organizations. And in situations where I happened to find out who was hired, typically it was someone that was 5 to probably 15 years younger than I was. And I probably, yeah.
A very common story, story with many of my clients. Yes.
Yeah, it is. And so, you know, the message of the story is get out of your own way.
Thank you, Rex, for the tips. And I'm sure reading your article will give them more and better idea of and elaborate on what you just talked about. These were
Well,
all the questions. Yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, I really do invite people to take a look at it. You know, if you're even 45, take a look at it because it would still apply to you. And certainly if you're in your 50s or 60s, definitely take a look at it. And, know that I wrote that story without an ounce of hubris, and that it does make a difference. Um, just like, I said, the snapshot, it makes a difference. And especially for older workers, it presents an older worker in a very modern way. And we did a survey. My career snapshot is a year old in September, and in August we surveyed our customer base and actually got a pretty good response. And I asked folks what they thought of the career snapshot and how it particularly helped them. And we got a lot of different responses. And one of the verbatims, which I thought was really interesting, was from a gentleman that had almost 40 years in marketing. And he said the snapshot gave him the tools to organize the best successes in his career in a way that a resume couldn't. And he actually used his, and he got another job because of it. And he actually moved from a legacy automotive company to a company that specializes in electric vehicles, which was, I think, for him a real coup. So that was pretty neat. But that's just it is something to think about. The snapshot has certainly worked for me. I've used it with every new client that I've won. I have it on my portfolio site. I have it on my LinkedIn site, and it makes a difference. People will often comment on it without me even asking. It's like, wow, that's some cool graphic you've got there. I didn't know, you traveled to 24 countries, or I didn't know you were a journalist, or you designed buildings. I didn't know that you did, permanent event space. It's like, yep. So it's definitely a useful tool, and not just for creative people, but it can be used across industries. I've seen it used in real estate. I've seen it used in engineering. I've seen it used in a lot of different ways.
Well, it is a great product. I believe in it, and I wish you the best of luck with it. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
One of the new things, we did redesign the site. Not that it really matters. Folks will go to it. It'll be the first time they look at it. But we expanded our product line. One of the things that we did in the survey was that we asked our customers what else they would like to have in terms of a career snapshot. And during the first year, they told us that, we want to be able to have our portrait on it if we want. So we integrated that. We wanted to be able to, customers asked to have additional social media links available. So we incorporated that. And one of the things customers asked for said, you know what, we really need help with our LinkedIn backgrounds. So can you come up with something like that? So now we've created an option on the Snapshot site that enables people to have customized LinkedIn banners that go behind their photo. And that's critically important. I'm sure that you talk with all of your clients about, personal branding, how they present themselves. How easy is it for, a hiring manager or a recruiter to, understand something from just looking at the top part of their page? And a snapshot background like that, I think, is a very simple way to help people do exactly that in terms of personal branding. And it's, a whole lot better than having, just kind of a textured background, or you see some people have beaches, other people have, offices. Saw somebody's that has a cup of coffee. Like, you put a cup of coffee on your professional background. What, you want people to think you're on a coffee break all the time? Like, think about your personal branding. And so our backgrounds are now available, and we do them for companies, and we also do them for individuals.
And so the website again is mycareersnapshot.com. You can find all this information there. And thank you so much, Rex, for being on Hoda's Career Info. And I look forward to more collaborations.
I do too, Hoda. And don't forget, make sure that you post your discount code in this video so that folks, if people see this and they go to the site and they go, I got to have one of those, they can get your discount because it is the largest discount that's available. And so make sure that you put that on there and maybe in the show notes or as a super or something like that.
I will do that, Rex. Thank you so much.
Terrific. Hoda, thank you. I appreciate being able to talk with you today.
What did you think of Rex Roy's My Career Snapshot? What about his thoughts on ageism and the tips he shared? I cannot wait to hear your feedback. You can connect with Rex on his website, mycareersnapshot.com, or on LinkedIn. I am your host, Hoda, and you can reach me at rightcareerfit.com. Until next time, keep creating your own adventures.